guys, it's Bill Vinci and Ryan Vinci back here on a special night. It's a Tuesday night with no time for nonsense. We got a great show for you planned tonight. We're really excited to be with our special guest, Lillo Brancato. Lillo, how you doing tonight, buddy?
How you doing, gentlemen? Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. We're excited to have you on. And Ryan, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing great. What's going on?
Nothing, man. I'm excited to do a little interview with Lillo and stuff, and been a big fan of yours for years, man. Been watching your movies and still watch all your movies. But before we get into Lillo's story and stuff, I want to thank, we had a bunch of sponsors. They're part of the show tonight. We couldn't thank you guys enough. I'm going to read off the first of a few of them, and then we'll reach out to the other half at the midpoint. So first, I want to thank Joey's at 307 in Utica. Some of the best food around in upstate New York. Go down and check out Matt's place. Give him a call. Put your order in at 315-864-3527. Put your order, man. Matt will take care of you. Plus, I want to thank Geddes Bakery in Syracuse, New York. One of the best bakeries in upstate New York. Contact the Pappas family. They got all your needs there. You can get your orders in. He's at 315-437-8084. Also, Oliveri's Mike Clare has brought his Utica flavor out to Hamilton, New York, and he's got some incredible food, man. If you haven't been out to Hamilton, go check out Mike. You can check out their website at www.oliverispizza.com or give them a call at 315-824-4444. Also, Cianfracco Home Services. Vinny Cianfracco, he does it all, man. Vinny does as a handyman. He does interior, exterior, carpets. Give him a call to get your place checked out. He's at 602-541-3962. Also, Newman Landscape. They do snow removal. They do landscape and asphalt and much more. They've been in business 25 years. Give Cam a call at 315-853-3798. And our last sponsor for the first segment of the show, Paolozzi Electronic, licensed electronic contractors for all your electrical and commercial and industrial needs. Give Mike a call at 315-534-1702. So thank you for the first part of our sponsors. We'll talk about the other ones halfway point. But Lillo, we're excited to have you on, man. We've been talking back and forth for a couple of weeks now. When I first reached out to you, and John Pappas already said hello, one of our sponsors. How you doing,
John? Thank you. And how are you, John? Thank you. And
absolutely.
Thank you all the sponsors. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You got a lot of love in the upstate New York, buddy.
Yeah, I spent a little time up there. I know.
Yeah.
Familiar with upstate New York, no, but it's nice, beautiful up there.
Yeah. We'll talk.
Like a whole nother world. Can't believe
is.
It's like the same state. It's like, I live down there, but it's all the same, but it's like a whole nother world. It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that later. But listen, we want to start off. You were born in Colombia, but you were adopted at 4 months old by an Italian-American family. Talk a little bit about that.
My mom and dad, my father was a Sicilian immigrant, rest in peace, and my mom is Calabrese, who was also an immigrant. They both came over on the boat and everything. And they met here in Yonkers, New York, in South Yonkers. It was like a little Italian ghetto, like a little Italian community back then. That's when mom and dad met. They eventually got married. They tried to have a kid. They miscarried, then tried for many years after that and were unsuccessful. So they went and said, they decided they wanted to adopt. And my mom said that she looked at, pictures of all different babies from all different orphanages from all over the world. And basically she said, when I saw you, she said, you're the baby that I wanted. She said, I knew. And then, it's a nice story. Even when I hear it now, when my mom tells me that story, still the same effect now that it did when I first heard it and even earlier on in my childhood and stuff like that. But so they went they went through with it. They did, whatever they had to do. And then January 1st, 1977, was my first day here. My mom was pregnant with my brother Vincent. As soon as they knew they can have me, I guess it's so psychological. Mm-hmm. She knew that she was definitely going to get a baby. I guess the whole psychology part of it then worked in her favor because then she was successful. So my brother Vincent, he's born May 12th, 1977, and I'm born August 30th, 1976. So me and my brother Vinny are like 9 months apart. So like when people hear that, they're like, well, how did that happen? Well, it's like it didn't happen. I was from there and he's from here, you know? But he's my brother and I couldn't ask for anything. I mean, you know, listen, 4 months old, I'm a little baby. I don't know anything else. You know, I mean, I grew up Italian. You know, pasta, my grandmother's and all my aunts used to come over every Sunday. That's the life that I know. That's where I grew up. And, you know, my brother Vincent, I mean, yeah, maybe we're not blood, but I'll tell you what, he's the best guy around. He's got 3 kids. He got 2 beautiful little girls. My nieces, they're 4. They're twins. You got my nephew Vincenzo. He's going to be 8. They're like my kids, you know. And my brother's just like such, you know, he's a union guy, blue collar. He drives the machines in the city. He's a guy that I aspire to be like. He's just such a good man. And like when I came home, you know, from upstate New York, my brother would not leave me alone. He'd bother me every, Lee, you want something? You want this? You want this? He's my younger brother, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he got me the iPhone. I mean, like a few days. My brother's a good man. I love him. So he's, in all actuality, I could say even better than blood, you know?
Yeah. Now, that's kind of funny. I'm half Calabrese, half Sicilian.
All
Our
right.
families came over, so I got that Rome. So growing up in a big Italian family here in Rome, New York, you relate to almost everybody. It's crazy. When I was in school, before I would date a girl, I'd have to go home and ask my parents if she was an Italian girl, what's the last name?
Yeah.
That's what you had to do. So it's unbelievable, man. But that's
they asked the last name because they probably know them, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Plus, we had to.
It might be your cousin. You can't date him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we know we're cousins. You know, we're related to them and through there, and it's nuts.
Yeah, but they do though. The Sicilians especially.
Yeah.
Trust me, the Sicilians, you could be first cousins, and you one day you'd be a family. I'm telling you, it happens. I'm not going to name any names, but it happens. That's what I'm say.
So, what was your life like in high school? Did you play any sports? Were you into acting back then too, or were you
Well,
like?
you know what? They discovered me on the beach for what we're going to talk about later. At the end of 10th grade. So I only went to half of high school. And 10th grade, I really, because I got thrown out of Sacred Heart High School, like literally September 26th. They didn't even want me back from the year before because I was so bad. And my father, please, you let my son, please, I can't send him nowhere. Like, they don't want to let him go anywhere else. You got to let him stay here. My father's like, little Italian guy begging this principal, please, just let him stay. So they agreed. They said, okay, but they said if he does anything, he's gone. But I didn't even make it till October 1st, September 26th. I remember it was the day. We got to a little argument in the cafeteria, and that was it. They put me on probation that day. So, I mean, I played. I liked soccer. I always played soccer. I played a little football. Played football in junior high school in Mount St. Michael. Mount St. Michael's in the Bronx. Puff Daddy went there. A lot of guys. Mount St. Michael you got to see this campus.
Really?
College campuses. You got the baseball fields with the dugouts. You would think like, what's this? It was a high school. Mount St. Michael, and they had a really good football team. And I played football. I played a defensive back. I used to hit pretty hard too. And I used to, but you know what it is playing? I remember, do you know the different offenses? We played a wishbone.
Mm-hmm.
Wishbone offense. And it's very one-dimensional. It was like a boring. It wasn't exciting to be on that team.
Right.
Especially to watch them offensively. That's you asked high school, but junior high school. So I think if we would have ran a different offense, I think I could have gotten a little more excited about it.
Yeah.
You know what it is with junior high school? There's a lot of running plays,
Yep.
You know, I'm a defensive back. So if they're not throwing the ball to the receivers, I'm not doing anything out there.
Exactly.
I'm just basically, what am I doing every down? You know? So played a little hockey too. I was a big Mario Lemieux fan.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big Mario Lemieux. You know, 84 was my year. For some reason, 84, I was born in 76. So 84 is like really when I started to tune in sports and, everything. So I'm a big Mario Lemieux fan. He was a rookie that year. You know who else? Dan Marino.
Oh.
Dan Marino, that was his rookie season.
Yep.
1984. And like Marino's like still my idol. I got this painting on canvas. There's 13 of them for his number in the whole world. I got the 7th one.
Really?
Canvas. It's an oil painting. Marino. And just the way he used to hold the ball, 3 fingers down and 1 up. Get on the ball. And this guy's stance was perfect. And like these quarterbacks today, like, I mean, listen, I'm not taking anything away from guys like Brady and you know, guys like that. I think they're great. But you know what? I just think back then in the 80s, it was a much more violent game. And now, because of all the concussions and all the things that have happened, so many rule changes to protect the players. Mm-hmm. It's like it favors the offense.
Sure.
It's like pretty soon it's going to be, you know, like flag football.
I said the same thing.
You can't do to the receivers what you used to do. So now you got a guy like Tom Brady. As soon as this guy comes off the line, you can't even touch this guy.
Right.
You look at him the wrong way, they throw a flag.
Mm-hmm.
Now the defense can't even really do what they want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're babying this guy, of course. But I want you to watch highlight. I want you to watch Dan Marino highlights, and you'll see he was the best passer ever. He was out of a 3-step drop. Okay, he had no running game, and he brought his team to the Super Bowl in his rookie season. The best defense ever was the Chicago Bears. Remember 1985?
Yep.
Lost 1 game that year, and they lost to Marino on Monday night. Once again, no running game, just Marino and 2 wide receivers. He destroyed the best defense ever, 38-24. Destroyed them. They didn't even know what to do. He was out of that 3-step drop. Bang, 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 gone. Bang, 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 gone. The quickest release. They've never seen anything like it. And Peyton Manning, it came out of his own mouth. He said, we never saw anything like it before. And he goes, and I'm pretty sure we're never going to see anything like it again. Yeah. And that was Peyton Manning. And you know that guy's a very intelligent guy.
Yep.
I'm sorry, you guys got me fired.
Hey, we're huge sports fans. So we can talk sports. So we could probably do a 2-hour show with you just talking sports.
Yeah. Marino was a shame, man. All he needed was 1.
I know.
1 ring.
Yeah.
And they always judge him, you know, oh, but he doesn't got a ring. But then you got guys like that, you know, like, who was I don't even know. I didn't remember his name. The guy was the quarterback for the Ravens. Remember that with Ray Lewis?
Joe Flacco?
No, not Flacco. The guy. Oh, Trent Dilfer.
Dilfer, yes.
Come on. Okay, so Dilfer's got a ring, but Marino doesn't. So what are you trying, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, same
solidified.
Same with Brad Johnson. He was quarterback at Tampa Bay. They were the best defense in football. He won the Super Bowl. After that, he never did anything else. He was just
what was that, when they beat the Raiders?
Beat the Raiders. And we're Bucs fans. That's our only Super Bowl. So we have Brad. I mean, think of all the great quarterbacks. Brad Johnson, a journeyman. So, you know.
But that was Gruden. Gruden ran a tight ship.
He did.
Yeah, Warren Sapp there. Listen, man, you could. Good defense beats good offense.
Yep.
Except if it's Dan Marino. He proved that.
I know.
Best defense ever. I don't even got a running game. You know what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
The Duper or Clayton?
Exactly.
Go down. Stop me. Come on. Let's go. You know what's coming. And he did it. Because it came out so fast. They weren't ready.
Right.
That was Marino's competitive advantage. The quick release. It was 1, 2, 3. A 3-step drop. And that 3 steps. Ball's going downfield 50 yards. Perfection every time. He just did it like a machine. Like a machine.
Yeah. Lillo, right now, if we could go outside and play football in the yard, how bad would you clock somebody right now because you're so fired up? If I'm coming across the middle and I catch a pass,
man,
you'd fucking drill me.
Oh, hell yeah. No, I'm just joking. But I do feel like I could do that right now. I used to do that. I used to, like, back in the day, like now I'm sober, going to be 14 years, but back in the day, because I used to love, because I used to watch guys like Ronnie Lott or Atwater, you know, these guys that used to hit so hard. And I used to like, because I got the speed. And when I was in junior high school, I was big. And I had speed. So I could run and I could hit. You know what I mean? And I used to love that. And I remember when I used to have a couple of drinks, that used to come back, and I used to like go up to like random people in the street. I didn't even know these people. And I used to say, you want to get to the candy store? You got to get around the corner. Come on. A jerk, But that's what I used to do,
Oh, that's freaking great. That's hilarious, man. Well, we're passionate. We're very passionate about sports. So, yeah, me and him get like that on Sundays when we're watching the game. So it's a passion. And without sports.
Let me ask you this.
Without 4 months of sports right now, man.
I know. And it's good. And I know Brady's making his debut.
Yes, Brady and Gronk.
I know that. I know you guys want to. Let's hope. But you know what? With the second wave out on the West Coast, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
That whole side of the country is going to be shut down. Within a week, there's going to be restricted air travel everywhere. You gotta do it.
Yeah.
How do you think Brady's going to do in Tampa?
I mean, you think about he's got 2 of the best receivers in the game right now, in Godwin and Evans. They both hit 1,000 yards last year. You got 2 great tight ends. You got Gronkowski. We're going to see how he does. But then you got O.J. Howard, so he's got 4 guys over 6'5" and 6'6".
Does he got a running game?
Running game's a little shaky. That's what they're going to have to really work on. They drafted a couple kids. I mean, they got Peyton Barber. They got the kid Ronald Jones from USC. They need the running game to open up that passing game because we don't want them throwing 40 times a game. But if you give him time with those receiving crew, I mean,
but that's the key, man.
It is.
If you give him time.
You got to give him time.
They got a line. Do they have a good line?
The line is suspect. And
that's a problem. That's everything.
It is a problem.
I mean, the Giants beat them twice because the Giants penetrate the line. They had vicious lines, and they just wouldn't let up. And Brady wasn't the same quarterback.
Right.
Got to him so early, and he throws off his rhythm. And I'm telling you, me personally, I think he should have just retired last year. He had that season. You could see he was declining. I would have said, you know what? I want to retire a Patriot. Leave me alone. I go down as the best ever, And
right. Now, we got our first question.
What's that?
Oh, you got a question, Ray?
No, I was saying I feel like he just wants to prove himself because him and Bell had that fallout. So he wants to prove that he doesn't need Bill to be as success as where he is now. I think that's the only reason why he didn't retire yet and wants.
Well, let's hope it pans out for him because I think that Belichick's got a better chance at being successful than he does because Belichick has done it before.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, he was with the Giants. I credit him more for those wins than Parcells.
Yeah.
That team was on defense and running. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that defense, you could have those backs running all they want, but that defense is what made that team. That was come on, 86 LT. That was the baddest dude to ever put on a football uniform.
Yeah.
The baddest. No, not Ray Lewis, not nobody. LT, I've watched him play. He was the baddest guy ever, man.
He was incredible.
Beast.
Hey, guys, we're with Lillo Brancato. If you got a question for him, ask it. We got one. Bruce Van Meter wants to know, ask Lillo if he was familiar with the Yonkers team that beat RFA in the state finals in football. You familiar? No?
No. Wait, what's the team?
It was a team from Yonkers that beat RFA, our home team here in Rome Free Academy.
Maybe Roosevelt? Roosevelt High School?
Might have been. Bruce, was that Roosevelt High School?
Yeah, it was a coach. There was a famous coach. His name was Tony DiMatteo, and his brother's name was Don. They even named one of the highways near us Tony DiMatteo Highway. He was like a legendary high school football coach.
Okay.
And that's maybe who that's
talking about. Okay. Well, we could talk sports all night, but everybody wants to know how you got started in acting.
That was back in 1992. I had just finished 10th grade, July 5th, 1992. I was, we had heard about, the film Bronx Tale. De Niro was going to, direct for his first time. And, my cousin Pat read for the part. Like, they went to his school. Like, they were, like, bullied, like, this, like, post, like, billboards up and flyers everywhere. It was on the radio. So it was a known thing that this film was being made, and they were looking for actors, and actresses to play, these various parts in the film. And I knew there was a role for the kid, for a kid, around the age that I was, around 16, 17, to play De Niro's son. And, since I was a kid, people always told me I bore a resemblance to De Niro. And once they told me that, I would do impersonations. Like with Cape Fear, I had put on all the fake tattoos, grew my hair out, scenes with my brother. So when I heard about this film, I said to myself, wow, I said, but it's such a long shot. So you don't really think about it.
Right.
But to myself quietly, you know what? I think I would be good for that role. You know what I mean? I look like De Niro. I friggin' studied the guy. I could do these parts and I can do this. But I just never really, me with De Niro in a film, that's not going to happen. So then July 5th, 1992, day after the 4th of July, me and my friends, we decided to go to Jones Beach in Long Island, New York, Field 4. It was we knew everyone in that field. It was you know what I mean? It was everyone we'd see some people we didn't want to see. We were young, we used to fight and stuff like that. So I remember I just played soccer. I was in the water. My brother's calling me, and I thought they were fighting or something. So I ran out of the water, and he said, "Hey, Lee, this is the guy remember that De Niro movie they were talking about?" I told him, "You look just like him." He said, "The guy wanted to meet you." So started talking to the guy, did a few impersonations, and, he liked it. I knew that was my shot. And then we drove home that day in my friend's father's station wagon. I was all the way in the back, facing back, and everyone was facing the other way. It was one of those. Mm-hmm. I knew in the car that day that my life would change. I kind of knew I would get that part. I just felt I don't know, something came over me, and I just felt like this was in the stars. This was meant to happen. All this right now is meant to happen. I just felt something surreal that day. And then I went in to read that night. It was a Sunday, but the guy was like, "We want to meet you. I want to put you on tape. And, I want you to come tonight. We're, usually not open. I'll open just for you." I did a scene when I was shaving, asking him about, what do you think about going out with a colored girl? That was the scene. But in the audition, De Niro was the one shaving, not me. So I just did it, and the guy loved it. It was natural. He loved it. He had me do some additional stuff. Then I got a phone call the next day. I was working at a law office, filing and stuff. I got a call, and they wanted me to go down to Tribeca. They wanted me to go down to De Niro's production office. When I went there, it was very, very intimidating. There was a lot of kids there reading for my part. There was a whole room filled with kids reading for Calogero. So they liked me. I went in. Next day, they called me back. So now as the days are going and I keep getting called back, there's less and less people to the point where it's just me. So I'm I must be doing something right. Mm-hmm. So eventually I meet De Niro. It was great to meet him and worked with him for a little bit. And then he said, "Tomorrow I want you to dress like you're going to church. Put on a pair of slacks and think." He says, "We're going to put you on real film. Tomorrow we're going to have the cameras roll. We're going to put you on film because people look different on film. You look, just maybe the structure of your face.
Right.
Photograph different on film. Things they take into account for." So I went in. The next day we were all downstairs. He's got a movie theater. He owned the building, 375 Greenwich, Tribeca. And Tribeca stands for Triangle Below Canal. That's the little section in Manhattan that's called Tribeca, Triangle Below Canal. Because the city comes to a tip, and then you got the triangle. Everything below is Tribeca. So when I was down there, all these people in the room and this and that, and then the kid who shot Sonny in the film, he comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He goes, "My name is Phil." He said, "I'm reading for your part also." He said, "It's me against you." So now at this point, I didn't even know there was anybody else reading. I thought I was the winner. I thought they just wanted to pretty much just finalize it.
Right.
And when I see this kid, I thought to myself, that's a problem. Because I know he didn't make it this far because he's got to be good.
Right.
There's a reason why this kid is here this morning. So now I know, what is it? And what do I got to do? And So now it changed everything. So now my day, I was so nervous because they did everyone else's parts. They did different, the girls, different girls were considering, different young kids, different girl's brother, the friends, to this. So now they doing all that, and then they wait till the end, and then it's me versus this kid. So he was 21 and I was 16, so he was a little older than me. I personally think the movie works better when you're younger because at 21, I think you kind of already made the decision as to where you want to go, already in that, but at 16, I think you're more impressionable.
Sure.
It's like, it works better, the story, because now he's torn between his dad and Sonny. And I think at 16, that's real. Where at 21, he's either like going to be a street guy or he's not. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's either I'm helping my dad and going to church with my mom and dad, or I'm hanging out at the bar getting the guys drinks to hope to one day be one of them. At 21, you know that.
Right. Exactly. At 16 you're impressionable. Yeah. This guy's
right. 16, you don't know. So me and this kid, we're going back and forth. He does a scene, I do a scene. He does a scene, I do. All right. So now it's the scene where Sonny slaps the shit out of the kid. Remember when he thought, where the fuck did you go with my car? He said, and that was the scene. So the kid, Phil, he goes in first, right? I hear him, but the door's closed, but I can't see him. So now he's acting, he's doing the scene. So I hear Chaz, where the fuck did you go with my car? Boom. Where did you go? Boom. And then this kid's really getting beat up. I hear it. He's getting smacked. Like, wow, my father was there with me. My father, like 47 at the time. My father, old Sicilian guy, tough, man, built houses. My father's looking at me like, I put you down here so these guys can beat you up like that.
Right.
Like they were really beating him up. So my father was like, so he comes out. His hair is all disheveled. His shirt, he's got a couple buttons ripped. He really got smacked around. So now I'm thinking to myself, now I got to go do this. So I go inside. We do the scene, and they never touched me once. They never put their hands on me once, right? So not then, but later on. After I won the role, that was a Thursday. They didn't call me till Sunday. Monday, I went down, and De Niro told me, you got the part. Great day. But I remember circling back with De Niro and saying, hey, Bob, do you remember that day? I remember with Phil, you guys were hitting him, and really, I said, but then when I came in, you guys didn't hit me. I said, why didn't you guys hit me? And he said, we didn't have to hit you. He said, you did what we wanted you to do without us having to hit you. He didn't say Phil wasn't able to bring it, so we smacked the shit out of him.
Right.
But, basically that's what it was. So I thought that was like the ultimate compliment.
It is.
From De Niro,
Jesus, Lillo, 16 years old, getting casted in the Bronx Film, getting that part, working with those guys. I mean, when you went home, your head must have just exploded, man. You probably were. I mean, that's amazing. How excited were you?
I was excited, but as a kid like that, that's not what I wanted to do. I know it's like a dream come true. It's not what I wanted to do, and I'm so stupid for thinking the way I did back then. And, I wish I would have been a little different. I wish I was just a little bit older to appreciate it more. Because at 16 years old, what do you want to do at 16? I want to get my license.
Right.
I want with my friends. I want to go to my prom. I want to, this is what I want to do at 16. And I'm thinking to myself, this may take that away from me.
Sure.
So it was like, but now I realize how much I love it. Because like I said, I didn't realize how much I loved it until I actually started doing it. Because then it was fun, because then you can challenge yourself. I always did like different voices and play different characters. And let's face it, I've had many different experiences in my life where I've witnessed and experienced the whole gamut of emotions and lived the opposite ends of the spectrum. I've seen both.
Yeah.
And as a result of this experience, it just made me love it more, because now I have so much more inside me. and things that I've seen and things that I've witnessed where I can become something like that and portray it on film. And it's a beautiful thing to be an actor, an artist, and to write it, just like get a piece of paper and write something down and just create a character. And then what's written on that paper, you become that character to the point where you can even, like, you got to know this character so well when you're playing something. You got to almost imagine like you know exactly what he would have in his pockets right now. Me, Lillo Brancato, I got my keys on my left side with my money. On my right side, I got a pack of gum and I got a chapstick. That's my pockets right there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know, but because I'm so detailed with that and the way I have this stuff, I always imagine that would be a good start to getting to know and getting to create a character. You know what I mean? Something that's real, something that's authentic, not just putting on an accent, because that kind of, it's a whole thing. It's everything,
So the following years after that, you were also in Renaissance Man and you were in Crimson Tide. Did you also enjoy like working with those films too, or does that just feel like work to you?
Absolutely. After that experience, after The Bronx Tale, I mean, De Niro was my idol. To work alongside him and to have him direct me in that film was special beyond words. And, we didn't know back then that the film was going to be received as well as it was and to become a classic, an iconic film in cinema history. We didn't know that. I don't think anyone knows that when they make a film. I think, they make a film and, hope for the best. And then when you do achieve that and you make money on top of it, like, wow, this is what we do this for. Yeah. But I don't think anyone knew that because, at that point in time, it was a big risk. It was very risky because usually when you make a film, people, if you go to investors or someone, or hey, Lillo, what's going on, man? Any more movies? Yeah, I just did a movie. They don't say, what's the movie about? They say, who's in it?
Yeah.
Because who's in it is going to put people in the seats. This is how you sell movies overseas. They want to know who's in it. Who do you have attached? Okay, let's see what he's worth overseas. Let's see what he's worth domestically. So that's all a numbers game. So now here you have this film called The Bronx Tale, okay? You got Robert De Niro, who's not playing the role that people know him to play and the role they love him to play. He's playing the more subdued, the more laid back, the father, the nice guy. And it wasn't as much screen time as usual because he was directing. And now you got this, you got Joe Pesci, but he was in 2 scenes. So you can't really even say he's in the movie.
Right.
And now you got this guy, Chaz Palminteri, whose film it was, whose story it was, okay? And, he's virtually unknown. So now it's like, and then they go and get me, and I'm unknown. So here we're like, and the budget back then was a $25 million budget. And back in 1992, $25 million was a lot of money.
Sure.
So now you're putting $25 million into this film, okay? This movie could be a disaster. You got these unknown, no acting experience, they could have really, I think they thought that the film had a better shot at being a disaster than it would, what it became. Just because there were so many different moving parts and so many different question marks. You know what I mean? But you know what? It worked. And Chaz Palminteri was so tremendous as Sonny. He was a fresh face. He wasn't your typical looking gangster. He was tall, thin, and he was, doing little gangster things. And he killed the guy right in the street. And I think the way he was shot, I think he was so believable in that character. And I think, Frances Capra, who played the young me, the lady who played my mom, Catherine Narducci, the girl, my love interest, Terrell Hicks.
Yep.
Everybody was tremendous. Everybody was tremendous. All the guys that played the characters, Eddie Mush. Eddie Mush is the real guy. That's the real Eddie Mush. He was still alive. He was a little older, but he's still doing exactly what he was doing back then.
Back then.
He was a drinker. He he liked the bottle, the gamble. Bottle and gamble. And he was a good guy, And I mean, how much more real are you going to get than that?
Yeah.
Made something special. And I'm honored and so grateful to be part of that something special.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we're talking with Lillo Brancato. I want to thank the rest of our sponsors. Now, this is a great story so far, but let's get to these sponsors real quick. I want to thank Hot Off the Brick Oven and Mike Wally, man. He's got some of the best pizza in upstate New York. Give Mike a call. Go down, check out his place. You can put an order in. He's at 315-381-3406. Also want to thank Crooked Descent Tour. One of the scariest ones. It's one of the hottest, scariest attractions in the area. Located out in Herkimer. You got to go down there. Halloween time, it's fantastic. I want to thank Santino Cacciatore. Fantastic. Check out their thing at the darksideofvalley.com and check them out. Also want to thank Squeeze Lemonade, owner William Balsamico. Check out, they have some of the most refreshing lemonades in the area. All kinds of flavors. He's out all over the place during the summertime. Check them out. Go grab one of his lemonades. Also want to thank Bossone's for some of the best sausage, meats, prepared foods in the area. You can get your order in. Go down and visit Carmen Gina, proud sponsors of our show. Give them a call, 315-765-6409. And our final sponsor of the night, Vanity Hair and Beauty Salon. It's a full salon. They do hair, makeup. They do application, airbrush, hair extensions, and much more. Dakota Schaff, a good friend of mine. Give her a call. Go down and see her at 315-736-0278. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring tonight's show. After your movie thing, second season of Sopranos is when you joined that crew. Now, how did you get onto the show from there?
Well, I read for the first season of The Sopranos. I read for Brendan Fallone because the show was just basically a concept at the time. They were going to shoot a pilot. They had this concept, this idea called The Sopranos, a Jersey family. So everything was new. And I went to read for Christopher's friend, Brendan Fallone, the kid they shot in the bathtub. They told me I was a little too young. They said, but if we get picked up, they didn't even know if they were going to get picked up. He said, if we get picked up and we find something right for you, we'll bring you back in. So I'm like, all right. And at that point, I'm like, all right, whatever. It's just another audition.
Right.
I mean, so I remember that was in the summer of 98. I think it was 98. So later on that year, it was December. I remember I was watching HBO because remember the show used to come out in January. Mm-hmm. So they showed a coming attraction, right? So when I saw the coming attraction and I saw Gandolfini as Tony, because I worked with him on Crimson Tide. Mm-hmm. Let's face it, at that point in time, he was not the obvious choice for that role.
Right.
Okay, no one knew who he was. And when I saw it was him, not Joe, when I just saw the trailer. To me, seeing him was a disappointment. I was like, out of all the people, that's the fucking guy they chose? This show could have been so good, right? Little did I know, right? When I saw that show, and just the scene when he was in the pool, and he was called Carmela, because the ducks were in the pool.
Yep.
But when I saw that, I knew that this show was going to be unbelievable because it just wasn't it wasn't just a gangster show. They happened to be gangsters, but it was just a friggin' show about family and friends. They just happened to be gangsters.
Right.
Sometimes I can see little things on Instagram. I look back in the writing and Gandolfini, how good he was, and just how he held court with his guys and how real it was. Some of the scenes, man, I'm in the writing. And I always go back to this one scene. I don't remember, I think it was in season 3 or 4. Tony Soprano, Uncle Junior was on trial. So Tony goes and speaks. He's with Christopher, and they're walking the side of this building, and all the captains are waiting there. Because Tony probably told him, I want to talk to you guys. Basically, he's going in there to tell them that they're not kicking up enough money. Uncle Junior's on trial for his life.
Right.
Just the way, in that scene, it's like almost musical. The way he goes up from being mad, and then he comes back down, tries to reason, and then he comes back up. and just the way he does it. And he's always out of breath. He's a big guy, and he was so friggin' real. That was the best.
He was, you know, and like you say that, you didn't, when you saw him get that part, you said, Jesus, there's got to be somebody else. But after watching the whole series and stuff, I couldn't see another guy doing that role but him. I mean, he is so fucking amazing the way his act, like you said, it's just, there's nobody I could see that doing that part any better than what he did.
Nobody.
And what a shame, man, passing away.
I know.
So did you have any like really close relations with some of the guys you were acting with, like off the set?
Well, you know the kid Crazy Mario from A Bronx Tale?
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of my best friends. You know, I still speak to the little kid who played me younger, Francis Capra, his family, beautiful people. You know, I'm trying to think of who I still speak with Terrell. I'm, you know, close with Terrell. We do a lot of appearances. We go like, we've been to, you know, the Hollywood show. We've been out to Chicago. You know, we go out, we're all over the place. So I see her a lot and she's, you know, awesome. And, you know, I'm not going to, you know, after everything happened, a lot of people kind of like, you know, but that's okay. You know, that never got me off track.
Right.
I stayed on track regardless. I knew this was the cost of doing what I did and the repercussions of it, and you deal with it in the best way.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like I've done that, and I'm just going to, you know, move on with my life. You know, that's it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that next. I just want to catch up. We had a couple messages here from some people. Tell Lillo it was Roosevelt, the BRFA 27.
Roosevelt, I told you that.
Yeah.
I just told you. That's Tony DiMatteo. Yep.
Dave Goldberg was their stud fullback back then.
What year was that?
1996.
Yeah, that was Coach DiMatteo.
Okay. Yep, you called that.
Tony DiMatteo.
Tony DiMatteo. Now we got Sean Powers said, great quotes from the Bronx Tale. The biker scene. Now you can't leave.
Yeah.
Great. And Stephen and Sean Hanneran, great movie. Lori said you played a great character in The Crimson Tide. Sean and Stephen said you did a great job playing C in The Bronx Tale. Bruce Van Meter said, tell Lillo he could be a Vin Diesel body double. Yeah, he's got the. I know he's got the ball. And then somebody said, "I hope you do another movie soon."
Well, I got films coming out. That's if we could follow me on Instagram. I got like one film out right now. It's called The Fifth Borough. It's on demand, and I believe July 1st it's going to be on Netflix.
Ooh.
Actually, #1 on demand for like a week.
Really?
I have another film where I play a Mexican cartel guy with the beard, the accent. It's called Made in Mexico, produced by Mario Lopez from Extra. Well, he's not with Extra anymore. I think he's with Access Hollywood or one of the other ones.
Okay.
But, you know, my good friend Rodney Rinks, call him Tootie, he wrote it and co-directed it. I did a film that I was telling you about earlier called The Fury. Mm-hmm. My partner, Victor Rios, just had a little baby boy. God bless him. And, you know, we got a film called The Fury. It's a vigilante film. I play a member of law enforcement, which is, you know, going to cause some controversy, but it's always controversy is always good. And I also did a film. We're talking about The Sopranos with the girl who played Tony's daughter, Meadow. She played my wife in a film called I'm on Fire, where I play an abusive dad. It takes place in the 80s. So it's a period piece. I got the mustache. I'm a construction guy. Like my dad, it seems I got like concrete on my face, and she does the paperwork and the books. Like that's the way it was in my family.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I don't know if you remember the song by Bruce Springsteen, I'm on Fire. He gave us the song for the film. He gave us the song, and that's why the film's called I'm on Fire, but it's also on the soundtrack because he was abused when he was a kid. So I guess, you know, he felt he can relate and connect with the material. So he gave us the song, which is probably one of my favorite
great songs,
and I love that song. So it's really special.
Yeah, no, that's a great song. So 1992, you started into the drugs and the alcohol and stuff. Tell us a little bit how you got involved in that, and did that carry over into the movie when you were filming and working?
Yeah, it did. I mean, the first time I ever got stoned was on the set of A Bronx Tale. I smoked once before that, but I didn't get stoned. And then the kids on the set were smoking, so I took a couple of hits and I really got stoned. And then I had to do the scene, is it better to be loved or feared? And I was stoned during that scene. I'm embarrassed to say, and it's not cool, but that's just how everything happened. And then I continued to smoke pot. I, continued to drink alcohol. Then as time went on, I started, experiencing and trying harder drugs, cocaine, hallucinogens, mushrooms and acid, mescaline. We used to go to the clubs in New York City, tripping on that mescaline when I was like 17, 18 years old. And, just the access to it and, becoming successful in a film and television career, it's very lucrative. You make a lot of money. And,
Sure.
People will be your friends and you're out every night of the week and there's women. And, this happens right in front of you without realizing it. And then before you know it, it's like all of your friends are like, now we're in our mid-20s, getting a little older, and guys are settling down and, he's got a job, he knows where he's going, he's got a girl, he's engaged. And, guys are not doing what we used to do anymore. And it's like, I'm still doing it. And if anything, I'm doing it and it's worse than it was when we used to do it together. And now I'm realizing, this is a problem. I can't stop this. It wasn't bad like it was every day, but when the weekend used to come, there's no way. If I'm drinking liquor, I'm not snorting cocaine. I used to think about it all week, but I used to keep it in check. I used to go to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday night would be my first night out. So I drink I'm going to die and snort cocaine like I wanted to kill myself. And then the next day, my nerves would be all wrecked from all the blow I snorted. So then Friday night, I would just pig out and order food. And once I get like that, my whole discipline, everything goes out the window. And I hate that. Because right now I'm so focused and so disciplined. I mean, I was outside running with Corona. I was, because I won't sleep right if I didn't get that endorphin high. So now it's like a totally different me. But, the addiction, it doesn't go away. It's just, if you don't do something about it, it's not like a little kid's, like a little kid's shirt. He's going to outgrow it. You don't outgrow addiction.
Right.
It'll keep coming for you. It never goes away. It's always inside you. But we can do different things to keep it in check and to keep the beast sleeping. But you know what? Then there's one little thing you can do to wake them up, like liquor, alcohol. Alcohol is the catalyst. Boom, that's what starts everything.
Sure.
Not marijuana, alcohol. Marijuana will make you go eat and sleep and,
Right.
But also, maybe good things also. Maybe it helps people with pain and stuff like that. But you never, ever heard of anyone losing their lives or their families because of marijuana. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
alcohol is a tricky one. And, alcohol is a tricky one. And, people die and it just, so I didn't really do anything about it. And then it got to the point where I was snorting cocaine every weekend. And then, see that?
Yep.
In 2000, I was with my friends. It was right before the Subway series. It was my friend's mother's 50th birthday. We were at this Italian restaurant. We would drink it all day. Then we would go and watch the baseball games at night. So I'm drinking scotch from 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's nighttime now. One of the kids at the party had blow. He sold it. So we're sniffing blow. We're starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, already all geeked up. So by the time the nighttime comes, I must have sniffed 2 8-balls. And I was just going and going. So I'm now I'm hallucinating and I'm paranoid. I got that cocaine psychosis. So I'm paranoid thinking the guys in the car are going to kill me. And these guys are my friends. But that drug really works your mind like that. And you start feeling psychotic. It's psychosis. And that's exactly what it does. It brings out a psycho. And this is what happens. So now I'm in the car and I'm all wired up and I'm looking at these people, my friends, and I'm thinking they're going to kill me. So I said, you know what? I just opened the door and I jumped out. Doing 60 miles an hour. I destroyed my whole side. I ripped my head up. And the significance of this story, the reason I'm telling is, once this happened, this is when I entered the world of opiates. opiate pain medication.
Mm-hmm.
This is how this started because the doctor was giving them to me. So, you don't think anything of it, That's how it starts. Like when I used to go online and have my ex-girlfriend try to find a way to get me off these pills, that's the way it starts. Guy had a back surgery. The guy did this. The guy did this. And now they're full-blown junkies. They went from pills, and now they're sticking needles in their arm. And now it's not even heroin. It's fentanyl. So once you put that in your arm, you're dead. And this is the world we live in. But I never got it in check, and it just got worse and worse. And then, the opiates started to the point where I was taking there were some days I was taking 40 to 60 a day because I would take 20 in the morning and then 20 at night, and I was spending all this money, and my life was going down the drain. And then I couldn't get them really anymore. They started cracking down, and I started with the heroin, and then I started with the crack. So I would say the worst the worst months were from June 2005 to December 2005. Those months were filled with crack cocaine and snorting heroin and being up 4 or 5 days and never sleeping. And, I had a girlfriend at the time, and she was slipping away. I was heartbroken over this. And, and her slipping away caused me to do more drugs. It got to the point where, when I went to her house, because we were living together, she threw me out. She was going to be a doctor. She was going to take her MCATs, and she's, Lucy, I can't focus with you here doing that. So she broke up with me. So every time I would go by the house, trying to beg her, she would call the cops, and it was bad. So then I became friends with her father. Okay? So that's the story. That's how I was friends with this guy just so I could see her without her calling the cops. Mm-hmm. And it was for the girl.
Right.
But then I would say, I'm not here to see you. I'm here to see your father. And she would say, oh, okay, well, leave me alone. And then I'd go. But for that, just to see her for that 2 seconds was, what I wanted. Even just a little, whatever. Right. But that's what I did it for. So now we're hanging out. Him and I got a little closer. And then on December 10th, 2005, well, it started out December 9th, 2005. And then after midnight, I was going to stay in that night. I remember I had my heroin. I snorted. My legs felt good. I was going to get a good night's sleep. I wasn't dope sick. And then he calls me on the two-way to Nextel. And he goes, well, what's up? He says, you want to get a drink? And he didn't really have, because I know he smokes crack. He snorts heroin. This is my ex-girlfriend's father. Yeah. 48, 49 at the time. And I was 29. So he had me by 20 years. So I take a shower. I go pick him up. We go get crack. Right in South Yonkers, we go get some crack, start smoking. And then we had some heroin. But when you smoke the crack, it takes away the effect of the heroin because it overpowers it and you lose it and then you become dope sick. We went to a strip club in the Bronx, okay? We went to a strip club, and I remember my friend used to run the place, so we didn't go through the metal detector, and that's very important. We didn't go through because he said, no, they're friends in a club. Let them in the other way. That's the only reason. So we went, no problem. We were in the club, hanging out, but then we decided after we needed to get more stuff. Making phone calls, nobody had nothing. I knew a guy from back in the day who used to live next to my ex-girlfriend, the little kid who played me at 9 years old.
Okay.
This is like a story that not even a writer can write, right? The guy who lived next door from them, he used to give me pills as a kid. Tylenol, codeine, Valium. If I fought with my girlfriend, I'd walk right in his house in the middle of the night. It would be open. Because the guy was a Vietnam veteran, so he was a little loopy. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't like a normal guy. So when I try to explain this to people, they don't believe me. I felt and I haven't seen him in all these years, but he was like our buddy. He was older than us. He used to drive me and my friends around, and he was like a good guy. He'd give me narcotics and stuff. Right. So I'm desperate. I can't get heroin anyway. I know you got the Tylenol or codeines. I'm not going to try to rob his house, but this is what they're saying. I broke his window, but I'm not trying to rob his house. I'm screaming. There's people hearing me say, Kenny. They're hearing me scream. So it's not like I was trying to be discreet. Right. And I heard it next door. And it's so crazy because a New York City police officer who lived next door, he heard the sounds of broken glass. He lived in the apartment where I used to do the laundry with my ex-girlfriend. Can you imagine that many years later, how this whole thing played out? Right? So I'm screaming, I'm walking away and I hear a voice behind me say, "Don't move." I turn, boom, boom. I got shot. When he said don't move, he never said police. He said don't move. His own landlord, Henry Zizek, said, well, we asked him, we cross-examined him because he was when he said don't move, did he say don't move police? No, he did not. He said no, he did not. This was an honest Eastern European guy, worked as, you know what I mean? He had no reason, and plus he knew the kid, but he still said no, he did not identify himself as a police officer. He did not do that. But that doesn't change the fact that we were, looking for drugs, not burglarizing, because burglary is a crime. It's a felony. You knowingly enter and remain unlawfully, first part of the crime, with the intent to commit a crime therein. So it's two parts. The purpose for the unlawful entry is for committing a crime. So if you want to go in the house because it's freezing out and the people are working and you just want to go to sleep, so you break in to go to sleep, but once you're in the house that you broke into to go to sleep, you see a Rolex and you steal it, that's not a burglary. That's not a burglary. That's an unlawful entry with a grand larceny, with theft. But if you knew the Rolex was in there and you were unlawfully entering to go steal that watch, that's a burglary. So now you got to prove both things. It says if you felt that you had license or privilege to be in that residence, it's not a burglary. Okay? So now I'm under the impression, because this guy and me were cool since back in the day. Yeah, I broke his window, but the guy wasn't, I wasn't normal, neither was he. He was a Vietnam veteran. Hi, how are you? That's the way he used to talk. His name was Kenny Scavone. Come on, Leroy. He used to call me Leroy. He was my boy.
Right.
Listen, back in the day, he used to take us for hookers. He used to take us for blowjobs. Come on, excuse me.
Right.
But if this doesn't say that me and this guy were friends,
Right.
He was an older guy. He loved us. He was our boy. And yeah, I'm frantic. I broke his window because I want drugs. And I know he's got them. And I know when he sees me, he's going to be cool.
Right.
And he say, what the hell are you doing breaking the window? You should have break the doorbell. Or something like that. But, that's the way I did it. I was not, and whatever. But he was my friend. And guess what? He was dead. He wasn't even in there. Oh, but people are going to say, but if you were his friend, how did you not know? So the cop comes out, he shoots me. Then a gunfight ensues between them when I'm already walking down the street. I got blood leaking out of my stomach. I started screaming, Kenny! Kenny! So right there, that's not a statement. That's a spontaneous utterance. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. No thought put into that. That's all adrenaline. That's all subconscious. And I'm going to tell you why me screaming that is very important. And that should have won me an acquittal. Okay? That should have won me an acquittal if we would have stressed it more. Okay. Do you remember when I said if they say if you feel that you had license or privilege to be in there, even if you broke the window and all that, it's not a burglary. Okay. Me screaming his name after I'm shot thinking I'm going to die, I didn't think about screaming his name. I didn't plan this.
Right.
And number one, it means that I didn't know he was dead because I wouldn't be calling him.
Right.
That's number one. But that's not even the most important thing. Do you realize out of all the people in the world, okay, I am dying. I got blood squirting out of my stomach. I've been shot 3 times, okay? I'm holding on for dear life and I'm walking. My fight or flight is getting me further away from the gunshots, okay? And I'm screaming Kenny. And I could have said, Mommy. I could have said, police, police.
Right.
I have said to the guy I was with, Steve. But I screamed Kenny, who was the guy who lived in the house, okay? Because in a situation like that, when your fight or flight kicks in, you're going to do what your instinct tells you to do. Right now, you're looking for help. You're looking for help because you're going to die or you feel like you're going to die, okay? Mm-hmm. And you felt your instinct and your subconscious made you say Kenny because that is where you felt that you had the most and best legitimate shot at getting help. Okay? So now let's go back to license and privilege. So now, if that doesn't say that I had license and privilege, I didn't even say police. I screamed for my friend. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's my friend. That's why I screamed his name. If you're telling me I'm burglarizing this guy and I have some sinister fucking idea of doing what I'm doing here, I wouldn't scream his name. That would be the last guy to fucking come help me. Okay, we have this. This is all in the evidence. But right. For all these years, I'm a cop killer. Meanwhile, I didn't even have a gun that night. And you know how much I've lost in my life, you know? And yeah, I went to trial and whatever, but you know what? And I did the time. And I could have said I didn't do anything. No, I didn't do that. I went to trial like a man because I knew I did drugs and I brought that guy to that house. I don't blame him. I blame myself for bringing him there. If anything, he should blame me for taking him there. But the bottom line is my involvement in that crime was minimal. If you take away the other guy, right, and you just put me there with the cop, he comes out, I break the window, everything I have in my pockets, same exact clothing, everything same exact, other than the other guy. You know what that means? The cop would have still been alive, right? So you're charging me with felony murder, which means when you attempt to commit, you commit in furtherance or in immediate flight therefrom a felony, your actions result in the death of a non-participant, okay? My actions without the other guy alone would not have resulted in his death. He would have probably locked me up for breaking the window, would have found out Kenny and I were friends, and I maybe would have got probation. I maybe would have got 2 years probation and community service, because that's basically, it was a broken window. But then, all this other stuff happened. But, my lawyer said it best. There were 3 guys there that night. 2 of them had guns. Lillo Brancato was not one of those people. But, but then again, see, like the Bronx Tale was a beautiful thing and everything. But then it came back because of that. And now I'm that kid that was in that film. Like they really made me pay for it. And I'm not saying that, listen, I do have remorse, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about that. His name was Daniel Enchautegi. He was a Puerto Rican cop. He was 28 years old. He was a major in criminal justice. He was a good guy. He was a cop. He worked construction on the side. He always took his mother and father, they were old, to doctor's appointments. He was a good kid. I'm not saying that, he definitely shouldn't have died. And believe me, I wish I could go back to that night and take that back. Right. And me could maybe have, a coffee one day or whatever, but we can't do that. So sometimes I look at like this kid gave up his life for me. Maybe he was like my angel that no one will ever understand, but I understand that he gave his life up for me. And now, I was addicted to drugs. And while I was, did my prison sentence, I got clean, but I overdosed in jail. I overdosed in 2006. But November 18th, 2006 was the last time I got high. So this November, I'm going to have 14 years. Wow. So since I've come home, I don't know if you see my Instagram, but I post a lot, I work out. And I post a lot of this stuff as encouragement and inspiration for other addicts. So, because it's not what you tell them, it's what you show them. And it's like, I'm clean. And when you see a dude that's all ripped up and know he's in recovery and you're just getting there, you say, you know what? I could do it too. He did it. And that's what I want people to know. You can do it, Right. And I've done so much with helping other addicts, and I've devoted pretty much my life to using my experience to helping other addicts to not go through what I went through. You know what I mean? And that's definitely helped me heal. But at least, I want him, in heaven to know, and his family to know that he did die for a good reason, I guess. Because behind his death, I'm going to use the power of just the whole situation and how profound it is and how someone lost his life behind someone else's addiction, because this is how powerful addiction is. And it destroys not the addict's life, but everyone else's also. Right. It has an effect. It has a very profound effect on everyone else around us. And, I will give his family my word as a man that I will continue to stay straight and narrow and continue to help others in need. And, hopefully one day, I can sit down with the sister. For many years I was on parole, so I couldn't do that. But now I think, as time goes on, I think it would be good for both of us.
Right.
Even for her,
Right.
So, but, listen, he's definitely not forgotten. And, he was definitely a hero, and he heard noise and he came outside and he thought somebody was going to do something bad to someone that he lived near, and he just wanted to protect them.
Yeah.
Aaron, I shouldn't have been there. I was on drugs, you know, and this is why, but I was always a good person. It didn't mean I wasn't a good person, but this is why drugs are bad, because good people do bad things when they're on drugs. So once you eliminate drugs from the equation, like I've eliminated drugs from the equation, and I'm a much better person now. I'm content with the person that I am today, and my Father in heaven, at least he got to see me, before he died, at least he got to see me for a few years, sober, strong, working out every day. I'm Lillo Jr., So I'm glad that I was able to make him proud before he left us. And I hope that he's, sees that I'm continuing in that path,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now how are you doing today? Like, what are you up to? I mean, I heard that you said you were doing some more movies and stuff. So
right. Well, right now, that's all on a standstill. Those movies are ones I mentioned. Those are in the can. I have this other one called The Faction of a Hitman with Ray Liotta. And, I'm in. I already did my wardrobe and just waiting to get the green light. But now with California, it's supposed to be in San Jose, California. I doubt that's going to happen anytime soon with all these new corona cases. I don't see this film going off until September, October.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I also work. I also work in drug treatment. Someone took notice of all the traction I was getting online and Instagram, and people reaching out. Lillo, how do you stay sober? And so I didn't work for a company, but I'm going to be working with a new company. I don't want to reveal the name just yet. Mm-hmm. This is what I do. It's basically a dual diagnosis. It's a treatment. It's treatment for those suffering with mental health and substance abuse disorders.
Right.
So
let me ask you this, Lillo. What do you do in your spare time? For obviously you work out, you can see that. But what do you like to do for hobbies? What's some of the fun things you like to do?
Well, I love playing sports. I love trying all different new foods. I love to eat. I'm very family oriented. Like I said, I got my nephew Vincenzo. He's going to be 8. He was the first one. Me, my brother and I is the first one to have a kid. So, and then you got my little nieces, Madison and Alexa. So I'm very I try to be as much of a part of their lives as possible. But right now, my sister-in-law is still very, very scared as far as letting them out, and she's still social distancing, which you can't blame. But you know what? My brother and sister-in-law, they both had it, and the kids were there, and they might have been asymptomatic, but they didn't get it, thank God. But she's careful. So it's basically what I'm trying to say is I'm very family-oriented, but it's harder. It's been harder to do that as of late because of the social distance. And I basically see them from the top porch when they're in the pool. I talk to them from the pool, but there's enough distance for us to communicate. But I'm still very in touch with what they're doing. And they spend their days, and my sister-in-law's on Instagram, and I always look at her stories because they're all about their kids. The other night, they made tie-dye shirts. If they're not doing that, they're baking something. If they're not doing that, they're painting. So my sister-in-law is a very good mom. Yeah. Those kids have a lot of fun. I look at them, and I like to live vicariously through that. And just because it's like such, kids are so innocent. Mm-hmm. At them and the things that, as we get older, the things that we witness and the things that we come to realize about this world and the people in it. And it's scary, because we grew up a certain way, and then like when you grow up a certain way, you think that everyone's like that, but everyone's not like that. And then you come to realize there's some really bad people in this world, and there's some really good people, and there's some really weird people, and there's some really, but that's what makes the world. Sure. Well, everyone's different, and you have to accept everybody for their differences. But this is how we become, like, if everybody was the same or you only like the same kind of people, how you get to the next level as far as culture and learning things about different cultures and different people. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So I got a question for you now. And then I got a question from somebody here. Obviously, our business is going around to different restaurants all through New York, and we've done over 350 different restaurants throughout New York. So tell us some of your favorite restaurants in your area.
I got this place. It's called Tombolino. 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 Okay. The chef and owner's name is Peter. And that's probably got to be my favorite restaurant. It still has a very old school look, but the food is always so fresh. And my aunt worked there at one time, and my cousin, and they said the same thing. She said, trust me, that food is fresh. I'm in the kitchen, and now all that food is fresh. And this guy, and they make this dish. It's called, I don't know if you've ever heard, I know you know the more common, like chicken parmesan, chicken marsala, chicken francese, chicken piccata. But do you ever hear chicken martini?
No.
Chicken martini is my favorite. He makes it there, and it's tremendous. I make it as well. I got it. If I go on my phone right now, I have it in my notes. I got the recipe. He makes it so well, but the reason why it's called martini is because they use the vermouth to make the martinis. The vermouth bianco, the white one.
Yep.
The white vermouth, okay? Not the dry vermouth, the other one. The Martini and Rossi is the best one. Okay, so now you get chicken, you pound it out nice, okay? You dip it in the egg, and you do, instead of breadcrumbs, you do breadcrumbs, but you also do 50% Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Okay, usually you put a little bit for the chicken cutlet, just for the...
Right.
You're encrusting this chicken in half cheese, half breadcrumbs. Okay? So now you pan sear in canola oil. Canola.
Yep.
You pan sear them nice. All right? You sear them up. Take them out of that. To cook it up, you put the vermouth. You put some vermouth in there, and now you cook it, each fillet, a minute and a half on each side. A minute and a half. Now that vermouth becomes infused. So it's got that sweet taste, but remember, you got the breadcrumbs and the cheese, right? So now you put chicken consomme, a nice little chunk of butter, and you squirt a little lemon. Boom, look, boom, 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 boom. Not a little bit, just that little bit, right? You stir it up and just let it cook. It will reduce. It will reduce to a cream. Bro, trust me.
Really?
Martini is the best, my opinion. I love it.
I'll have to try that. I'll have to make that up. We got a couple comments quick. Anthony Dardino said, looking good, Lillo. God bless you.
Thank you, Anthony.
And Bruce Van Meter said, who has the better pizza, Yonkers or the Bronx?
I think Yonkers does.
Yonkers?
I think Mount Vernon. You ever hear of Mount Vernon, New York?
Yeah.
Mount Vernon's got better pizza than Yonkers and the Bronx.
Really?
You know that guy on Instagram, Stool Presidente, Portnoy?
Yeah.
You know he does the one bite, everybody knows the rules?
Yep.
He raided a pizzeria in Mount Vernon, New York called Johnny's, okay? It was number 3 in the country. Number 3. Number 1 was Sally's in New Haven, Connecticut. And believe it or not, number 2 was Pepe's in New Haven, Connecticut. Number 3 is Johnny's in Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon.
This guy has no problem saying your pizza sucks. They would say straight up, he'll give you like a 5. When he took a bite into Johnny's, and he's got his guy does the camera, his name is Frankie. You never he always ate for it's Frankie. He's always talking to Frankie, right? As soon as he took a bite to that pizza, he went, oh, Frankie. Just like his whole
face.
It's perfection. You can't get a slice, you gotta get a pie.
Man.
And it's so crunchy and the crust tastes like butter. It's like a buttery, and it's so perfect the texture. the sauce has got that little bit of that Parmesan, and they put sheets of mozzarella underneath the sauce. And then they put like little drops of sauce and little splat of cheese. And it's so friggin' good. It's the best, man. It really is.
Okay, we got to try to call this place, see if we can film a show down there.
Johnny's in Mount Vernon.
Johnny's in Mount Vernon. I'll have to put that
You
down.
had that great fucking, you said, yo, Frankie, like, perfectly.
Hey, yo, Frankie, yeah. But that's his guy. That's the guy that does the camera.
I know.
And, but yeah, Johnny's is, it's been around for a million years. And, and it's so, like, I still, when I go there, because you know how many people went up to them at the front and said, yo, let me get 2 slices? And the guy goes, no slices. You know what time he must have said no slices? Every time I go in there, still, I ask him, let me get 2 with pepperoni. No slices.
No slices.
And I'll do it from now till...
Just to break his balls.
Exactly.
Let's see. Bruce Van Meter said, Crosby Ave Pizza, Sicilian slice best in the Bronx.
Crosby's really good.
Good?
But, ask them if they know Louie and Ernie's.
Bruce, you know Louie and Ernie's. Anthony, the pizzeria he's talking about is in Mount Vernon. Yep, Mount Vernon for sure. So, yeah, I'm going to wait and see if Bruce gets back to me on that.
Yeah, Louie and Ernie's is on Crosby, too, and that's a great pizzeria as well.
Okay.
Bronx. It's right near where I got in trouble. That's that section of the Bronx. That's
it is.
Hey,
Okay.
Park.
How far are you from Mount Vernon?
Yeah, well, that's about, from Johnny's, that place is about maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. Now, where you are now, how far are you from Mount Vernon?
I can be in Mount Vernon, right now, from where I am.
Yeah.
8 minutes.
Oh, that's it. You're that close. Wow.
Yeah.
Bruce said right down the street. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right down the street. I told you.
Right
Right down the street. That's Louie and Ernie's.
Okay.
So, you know what it is? I don't really want to knock Bronx pizza.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I don't really go to the Bronx for pizza. I got good pizza right near me. So there, I'm sure I know there's Sorrento on Williamsbridge. I heard that's great. Louie and Ernie's I had, which was phenomenal. The Crosby, the one he said, the Sicilian, I don't know. I never had it. So I'm not saying he's not right because he may be. For me, the best Sicilian is in Yonkers, New York. It's Dunwoody Pizza. Like they talk about L&B Spumoni Gardens in Brooklyn, this place. Let me tell you something. One word for that, overrated. I was there. It's okay. I wouldn't even tell somebody about it. If I go, you try that place? No, it's not like that. If I was in the area, maybe I'd get another one, space. But I'm not going anywhere near
the drive down there.
Place.
Yeah.
I go for the hot dogs at Coney Island.
Right.
But Dunwoody Pizza in Yonkers, another Frankie, he's got an awesome Sicilian. It's the best. And, he bought the place, like, from the old owners, and, like, all that happened when I was in prison. So now, obviously, like, you miss all this food. So one of the first places I went was to Dunwoody because I wanted a Sicilian slice.
Right.
And like the Big Mac, man, the same thing every single time.
Every time. Consistency.
Yeah, the same thing every single time. It was like perfect, You're hungry right now.
I know.
Even after this, and Tuesday, I might still do it.
Well, we got a section. We're coming down to the wire here with Lillo. I know we've been talking. And Lillo, I feel we could talk with you all night, man. Just
Thank
some
you. Likewise,
man, and I'm looking forward, and we'll talk about this at the end. But right now, we do a segment of the show. It's right at the end. It's called the penalty box, and you can do hockey in your time. I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you're going to give us the answer to each of them. Right? You ready for this?
Yeah.
This is probably easy for you, and I think you might have answered my first question already. But what's your favorite meal?
Let's go with the martini.
Martini, chicken martini. Okay. Favorite band or musician?
Favorite band or musician? When you say band of all time, I got to probably say Van Halen.
Sammy Hagar or David Lee Roth?
David Lee Roth. Come on. It's not even close. Come on. The first Van Halen and then 1984. Because that was my year. Remember? I told you that was my year.
Yep.
I like the song Panama, Eddie and Alex.
Awesome.
Nuts on the drums, Eddie. They were great.
You ever see them live?
Huh?
You ever see them
I
live?
never saw them live. I also like the Rolling Stones.
Yep.
But then, like you could go to all different kind of music. I love Tupac. You know what I mean? I thought Tupac was an unbelievable lyricist. It was pretty much poetry. I like some Italian music. I like some reggaeton. I like it all. But favorite of all time, we got to say, let's go with Van Halen.
Van Halen, yeah. You know what my favorite Van Halen song was? Is I'll Wait.
Which one?
I'll Wait.
I'll wait.
Yeah. Just love the beginning of that. That Panama was great. I mean, that's just good stuff, man. Yeah, David Lee Roth, man. He made that.
Yeah, do you remember them? Do you remember? I know.
I got a few years on you. Leo, I got a few years on you, my man. I'm 51.
No, I'm saying him. I'm saying Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. He grew up listening to stuff.
How old are you, Ryan?
26.
Okay, 20. I'm going to be 44. But let me tell you something. Like you remember the song "Ain't Talking About Love"? Ain't talking about love. My love is rotten to the core. I like when he says, he goes, "I've been to the edge. From there, I stood and looked down. I lost a lot of friends there, baby. Then he says, ain't got no time to mess around." About that, and I think about like that almost as my life.
Right.
I've been to the edge.
Right.
There, I stood and looked down.
Right.
I lost a lot of friends there, baby, because a lot of my friends overdosed. I got no more time to mess around.
Yeah.
Like when I hear that, like, wow, now it really resonates with me because I've listened to that. And then when I listen to it after everything that's happened in my life, obviously when I hear that part, it has a much different meaning than me just being a kid, like lighting fireworks with my family, listening to Van Halen barbecue. But they were always awesome, Yeah. So talented. What a talent.
Man. Oh, yeah.
I like Metallica too, though.
Yeah. No, I know. All right, so we got that. So next question is, where do you see Lillo in 5 years from now? What are you going to be doing 5 years from now?
In 5 years, I'd still like to, be acting in films. But like I said, I produced my first one, so I will continue to produce. We write and it just happens. We got the best money. Not $50 million, but you can get a few mil and continue to make movies. And I got to be honest with you. Sometimes, I'm happy at this level because I make a good living from it. It's like, it's not even that I make so much of a good living for myself, but it's more, I'm content with my body of work thus far as an actor. And I just feel like Hollywood's changed. And I just feel like if it's going to be a role that's going to bring me back, it's going to come from me. It's going to come from something I create because I know myself better than anyone else does.
Right.
I know what to write for myself that will, where I could really shine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In 5 years, I also would like to have my own drug rehab, my own dual diagnosis, and be the face behind it, and still sober and still strong and helping people, to the day I die.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there an actor on your bucket list that you would love to work with? You haven't?
Probably Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Growing up in an Italian family in the 80s, in the 90s, I mean, Pacino, De Niro. Pacino, De Niro. De Niro,
right.
Pacino.
Right.
De Niro. So, and I worked with De Niro, which so blessed and so honored. I'd like to work with Al.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to hear Al scream at me one time on film. Get out of here! Get the hell out of here! So.
Last question in the penalty box. This is one of my favorite questions. I love asking this. If you could sit down and have that chicken martini, one meal with anybody, whether they passed on, they're still around, somebody you've never met before.
My father.
Not even, yeah.
That's not even close. My father, when he was healthy, you know what I mean? Not when he was sick, because I didn't want to like that. But when he was healthy, when I knew my father, tough guy, I mean, my father, like, anytime I go out and people, oh, you're Lillo's son? Oh, my God, I've never seen anybody like that. I've never seen anybody work like your father. Oh, my God, your father was an animal. My father was an animal. He was old school Sicilian. This guy worked 6, sometimes 7 days a week. And him and my mother used to fight over that because she said, you're a workaholic. You're ever going to say, but my father was so into work. And he would go to the job by himself. He'd sit there to the concrete dry. I mean, he was nuts.
Yeah.
And he was so dedicated. He was so passionate. There's not too many people as far as bricklaying because my father was a bricklayer. And I've seen the things that, and he remember the things he would tell me to look at, the joints and different things to be able to determine if this is a good job or not. So now I look and I know, just based, I go to the side of the house, I look at the line. Right. Thinking, I know this guy, whoever did this is a shoemaker.
Right.
Playing bricks. This guy should be, But my father, like, I could honestly say he was the best around for brick. Yeah. He was good with stone. There's other guys that I've seen that were maybe better with stone. All the old school Italian guys.
Oh, yeah.
Things with stone, guys that I know. But with brick and concrete, my father was the best. Yes. I'm not just saying that because he was my father. Yeah. He was the best.
Yeah. So you'd like to have that dinner with him and just...
Oh, yeah. Oh, we used to have the best time. It would be me and him. We maybe I would like to think, and maybe at night, my father loved, and I love boxing, a nice boxing fight.
Yeah.
Like, back in the day, like there's no real heavyweight division right now, so I don't want to, but say back in the day, like, say like a Tyson Holyfield.
Right.
Like, 2 heavyweights banging it out. You got Tyson, he hits like a heavyweight, but in his day, he had the speed of a welter.
Oh, yeah.
Throw those combos at his size, twisting his whole body and throw him precise, like, uppercuts. He was like, he was a young kid. My father loved watching Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
My father loved it.
Yeah, he was something. I got another comment here before we wrap up. Bill and Ryan, hey, guys, this is so friggin' cool. I love this guy. Kind of jealous that you guys are doing this. So personal in real life. Tell him, please, that all of us here in Central New York are proud of him, and he rocks.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you. Enjoy everyone listening, and, enjoy your holiday weekend, and, be safe out there. And let's not forget that, the COVID-19 is still out there, and let's be mindful of that. And, I know it's going to be a little harder this weekend with fireworks and stuff, but everyone just do your part and do the best you can so we can prevent this thing from spreading. And we could, in New York anyway, and my prayers go out to all those out in all these other states that have been, experiencing a second wave. My heart and prayers go out to all of them, and I hope that comes to an end for all of them really soon. And let's all stay blessed and, and be thankful for everything that we have.
Absolutely. Guys, I just want to thank our sponsors one more time quick here before we finish up the show here at Lillo. I want to thank Joey's at 307, Geddes Bakery, Oliveri's, Cianfracco Home Services, Landscaping, Paolozzi Electric, Hot Off the Brick Oven, Crooked Descent Whore, Fresh Squeezed Lemonade, Bossone's, and Vanity Hair and Beauty. Thank you guys so much for being a proud sponsor of No Time for Nonsense. Lillo, I got to tell you, man, I would love to catch up with you sometime and go out to dinner and shoot the shit. And
maybe we'll bring MC. We'll bring MC with us.
We'll bring MC with us. Hollywood.
Yes, Hollywood, baby. Hollywood to Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Let me tell you something. That's a good man right there. And you know what? He cares about his friends, and I've seen that. And I'd love to have dinner with all you guys, and we'll have some laughs.
We'll have to have you come up to upstate New York.
I would do that. I have relatives that had a place in Sylvan Beach. They had that.
My sister lives.
Yeah, the antique place. It was called Uncle Joe's or something.
Yeah.
That was my family.
You got to be shitting me.
Yeah, that was. Well, they became family through marriage. But that's my cousin Marianne, her husband TJ's parents. Anthony, his name is Anthony. Anthony John, but we call him Tony John, TJ.
No shit.
That's my family.
Okay. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to have you come up because now that we're back filming our show, we'll have you come as be a guest on our show at one of these nice restaurants up here. We'll take you around a couple places, but you should think about, man, when everything clears through and maybe, I know we're filming and stuff, but maybe later in early in the fall or something.
I would love that. Believe me, I would love to come up there during like the leaves changing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the best time to come up there.
Yeah.
And and for you up there, it's a little earlier than it is for down here.
Yes.
You start doing that in mid-October, October. For us, everything's changing like Thanksgiving, and then in December, everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just later. So yeah, I would. That's ideal. That's perfect. Like the MC, wherever he is, removing that asbestos or whatever he's doing over there, and we'll get him over there with us, and we got to make sure we got a little heavy bag for him too.
Oh, he'll love that. I see I see his videos still up when he posts them, hitting the heavy bag down.
No, he listen, man. I've spoken to him at length about boxing, and he definitely knows, and I enjoy speaking on that topic, and about everything else.
Yeah.
Just a guy,
Yeah.
Also, and thank you. I appreciate this.
Absolutely, man. We loved hearing your story. John Pappas at Lillo, best of luck. He's a Geddes baker. We'll have to take you up there and get some homemade cannolis and half moons and some good Italian bread, man. He's got some stuff, so that'd be a good place to hit for dessert. But Lillo, I want to thank you so much, man, for spending an hour and a half with us tonight. Like I said, we probably could have talked the whole night and just shot the shit. And but you got a great story, man. And it's everybody who watched the show and who's going to be watching this over and over, you've turned your life around. We're proud of you. I mean, we loved you as an actor and we followed you, but to hear what you're doing now and you're getting back into that realm again, where you're out filming and you're doing stuff to help other people, that's most inspiring to us, man. And we wish you the best and hope you continue on and look forward to watching some more movies with you. And I'm looking forward to you coming up here and hanging out with us for a couple of days and showing you the town and meeting upstate New York people, man, and showing the love.
Likewise. Thank you, guys.
So I will keep in touch with you and see how you're doing and stuff. But guys, if you just joined us, we're just closing up the show. When the show's over, I'm going to post it on Facebook. Make sure you give it a share, watch it, spread the word on Lillo's story. It's fantastic. And he's come a long way, man. He's done a lot of great things, and he's going to continue to go on and do great things in the forecast. So, Brian, thank you again for another great show tonight. And Lillo, thanks again, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, gentlemen.
And I'll stay in touch with you, man, and look forward to hanging out with you someday.
Likewise.
All right. Well, you
All right,
guys, Bill Vinci and Ryan Vinci from No Time for Nonsense. We want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Everybody stay safe. You guys have a great night. We'll see you again on Monday with Pittsburgh Penguins announcer Steve Mears will be joining us. So we'll get to hear about Crosby and Malkin and what's going to happen in the playoffs. You might want to listen to that.
Wow.
And your Penguins. So
can you imagine they got both of those two guys on the same line on the same team?
That's sick. That's crazy. I know. Yeah. So we'll talk to him about that. And you guys have a great night and be safe. Guys, take care.
Good night. Good night, gentlemen. Thank you.
There.